Today, I'm going to discuss the hottest trend in football games right now, Play MFL, and why I've decided to actually sell my entire club. So, I guess the first place to start is the fact, I do actually have a Play MFL club. I've been playing for over a year now, and just describing how that all started, I guess, because many of you won't know because I never made content on it. So, Simply Invicta Roma, which translate to basically like Invincible Rome Forever sort of thing. What a banging name for a club. I hope whoever buys it doesn't change. But I was in Rome at the time where I got approached by the founders to sort of play. They're like, "Hey, do you want to try this game? We'll give you a club and then just see what you think of it." And to be honest, I was pretty impressed from the start. You know, the mechanics of it is really clean, easy to use. It's basically, if you don't know, it's like Football Manager, not really on the blockchain, but just sort of like a modern like fake version with fake players. And I was playing as sort of my squad. Now, if we go to the squad, I'm still not great at clicking about the menus. I hate how there's two aspects of it, but whatever. I've sold basically a lot of my players. You can see my highest rated player, Boniface Enriquez, some nice progression on him. And like you say, I bought him for $14. Yeah, just over a year ago now, year and a month. So what my thoughts are on the current game is that I think it's a very good game, but at the same time, I do think it's overrated, and the next steps of where it needs to go is going to be difficult. So when I look at basically my current club, and I put in, I think I have a little spreadsheet here. I put in at the start $300, for a new game that's could be a scam, could literally have been anything at the time. I think that's a good place to start. And then I opened a big pack. How much was it? £68? No. Anyway, I opened one of the most expensive packs that I could get my hands on because at the time it was very limited supply. You just had to sort of be lucky with it. Got a decent player, and I think I sold some other people, and I thought, do you know what? We'll just take out $193. We got lucky in the pack. The worst that can happen is you lose $100. The best that can happen, I don't know, goes up in value. So since about the 7th of December, we've been having a net cost of £109, and we've just been playing the game. So in terms of the game, it's developed a lot. I think that's its core strength. When you speak to the founders and when you see their weekly updates on Fridays, their dev updates, really impressive how quick they move for such a small team. When I spoke to them, I think there was only 3 or 4 of them. I assume it's grown, but I doubt it's grown drastically. So say a less than 10 person company building something this clean, that works, that's interesting to play, that's caught, I call it like the Sorare community. It's just sort of been extracted into the MFL community in large quantities at least. But in recent times, and always at the start, I guess, it's not really a game for me. I've never played Football Manager. It's not my niche. I'm a buyer and seller, which attracts me to this because there's an open market and you can develop players. But in terms of strategies, find out what works best, just constantly playing till you find a little niche that you think's good. Not really for me, but at the same time I thought, okay, well, what can I do that's a little bit interesting and different to everyone else? Because when these games come out that's new and exciting to play, people fall into the most obvious categories of like, well, the best thing to do is just be incredibly good at the game and spend and get the best team. But sometimes it's better to think the other way. And I was watching one of the Pemfez videos on this, and he had a very good concept, which he was trying, which was rather than spending loads of money on big players, you get loads of little players that could progress into big players since they all have like equal probability. So that was a similar thing that I was trying, thinking outside the box. But mine was loaning to basically be like, not like a market maker, but to just own really good players and to just loan them out. So if I can find my sort of history here, you could see that's exactly what I was doing. I don't really know where it is, to be honest, but I found it on my phone where it shows you how much of these MFL coins you've earned. And overall, I think it was a nice sort of strategy for someone that didn't have the time nor the passion to go and play as a football manager game And then at the same time, I still got that sort of buzz of, well, developing players, picking when to sell them, and then sort of making a profit or loss depending on sort of their progression, as well as like negotiating different rates for players. Because, you know, when you look at sort of, like, if you look at, like, when you list someone here as, like, available, the rates that they put up as the suggested rates are actually quite low. You can get much higher than that if you're like patient and you're willing to sell everyone. The downside I found for my strategy was that I was very money orientated. So if 4% or a 5% offer came in, I'd always pick the 5% offer. I think on reflection, if you do want to try this strategy at home for yourself, you should be looking at sort of the players that they're going to, where they finished in the league last season, because I got really lucky with one where I put my best player, he was in, I think, the Iron League, and they finished like top 3, which was really unexpected, huge payout. And then my second best player was in the league below and somehow finished like in the bottom tiers, and you sort of end up with nothing. And that doesn't happen when it's in control of your own fate. You know, if I'm managing my team, I'm always going to put the best into all of my players. But then also, if you're borrowing someone else's players, a lot of people wouldn't like prioritize them. So my best player that I loaned out was the best player in the guy I loaned him out to's club, but he'd never captain him, which I don't know how much an effect that would really have. But I was like, surely you'd always captain your highest rated player, so you get that boost. But yeah, obviously you wouldn't do that if it wasn't your own club, or your own player, sorry. So that's sort of where we're at. And then it comes down to money, basically, where not that I need the money, but when I look at like some of the sales that I've been getting of my players. So Gerard was this guy that I thought was going to be an absolute beast. First season, he went up loads, and then just, you know, nothing really happened since then. He's probably one of my worst performers, and I doubled my money with him. And it's the same for basically every player that I've sold. So Valiba, probably again one that didn't really progress. Very flat line. Again, made healthy profits on him, to the point now where if you think I had a net outlay of, what was it, $1,000? If I go to my Dapper wallet, and I hope there's nothing private here, I'm at 522 without selling, you know, my most expensive. So if we call that $600, that's $500 profit in a year from either a $100 net cost or a $300 total cost. And I've been around the block a few times where I see these games pick up sort of momentum, roll in, everything seems to be going well, sentiment's incredible, new users just seem to join every day, prices go up and up and up as people overspend because prices keep going up, so they're like, right, we'll get in, we'll sell this, and eventually it kind of stops or stagnates. So then you can start to see the negative sides of the game and the community, because when you join a new game and everyone's making money, obviously everyone's going to be friends and nice to each other. We saw it with So Rare. And then if you do hit a period of stagnation, that's when you start to see how good is actually the game, how many people were playing it because it was new, how many people were playing it because they thought they could make money. And that's a sort of aspect I don't want to sort of get involved with at the minute. Like, I think I can probably leave this quite early. Like, if new players are just joining every single day right now, for the next 6 months, it'll probably be fine, where none of this sort of negativity that I was speaking about will come in. But I'm happy to just, you know, take a game, sort of, a lot of these games like occupy so much time that they can actually be like a nuisance for me. So to clear out a game, make good profit, no risk involved, I think that's a nice spot for me to be in. In terms of sort of long-term game, I do think it's a good game. It can progress well. But when you look at like peaks, they've conquered the So Rare community peak. That's clear. They've got all the content creators. Now, of course, some of them are being paid. I won't say which ones, not that I know, but I was saying you could probably take a good guess which ones are being paid. So obviously take that with a pinch of salt. With everything that you see, that's an ad. But also just focus on sort of your enjoyment of the game, because it's tough for me to say. I've only played for a year and I've not been, you know, a die-hard fan. But the prices do seem a bit high for simply a game that you can't really win anything from. The goal is just to progress and progress and progress and progress, and naturally your players age out and you need more players. And I think as a new fun game, of course it's going to be fun, but I don't see the sort of lightning in a bottle moment that I think we saw with sort of So Rare right at the start, Gary V Boom, where this could be the biggest game in the world. This could be a billion dollar business. I don't sort of see that with Play MFL, but I'm seeing similar sorts of growth, if that makes sense. So again, it's just another reason where it's like, right, you've conquered the So Rare community, but to go further than that, the next sort of where do you go? You know, probably the football manager community, FIFA community maybe. They're much tougher, like cookies to crack, basically, to get someone to spend, you know, $500 on a game. You're not really making $500 back, unless of course the market keeps going up, which is funded by new users. So it's got the potential. I'm just being a bit cautious, if that makes sense. So for a game I haven't really loved, to make easy money and to just say that's the end of it, I think that's a fair sort of analysis. And the only reason I sort of do this video, because obviously I never made any videos talking about it when I was playing, I think it's just to give a sort of balanced opinion, because you do see those sort of ads and users trying to show like a referral link so they can benefit off it either financially or just in game. So I think it's good to have a healthy balance and be like, look, if you're not crazy about the game, maybe now's a good time to get out. You know, they've had that Disney sort of premium where they got like $25 of free credits to use, so that's pumped the market up. So I'm like, yeah, do you know what? Like, it's a great game. The team behind it look really solid and progress it, but this sort of huge growth won't last, can't really continue forever. So to just tap out now, say, hey, got in at a good time, got out at a reasonable time, I'm happy with that, and gives you more of a balanced opinion on everyone else's opinions at the minute, I think, because it's very just like ultra bullish and just this is amazing, best game ever. And for me, it's a solid game, but not like record breaking or anything like that. So that's my opinions. If you did like this, please drop a like, subscribe to the channel. I don't know what content I'm going to be making on, but you'll see something soon. All the best, you. Cheers.